Good morning, Exeter. Welcome to these graduation day exercises, which mark the conclusion of the 240th year in the history of our school. Welcome to our seniors, their families, faculty, administrators, all employees, emeriti faculty, trustees. Welcome to all who are participating in these graduation ceremonies, and a particular welcome to those who are participating remotely, including some seniors and their families who are not able to be here today. It was wonderful to see the faculty processing this morning, and to the parents, this is a tradition that typically happens at the start of the school in the assembly hall, and of course we couldn't do that this year. So to see the faculty processing and the students having an opportunity to express their appreciation is very meaningful. That was wonderful to see. The weather today is almost a carbon copy of the weather when I graduated in this stadium 50 years ago. Slightly warmer, and you're on a turf field, which is a lot hotter than grass. So we're going to try to be robust this morning in our cheering and applauding our seniors, but we're also going to try to be economical with our words. Those who are wearing masks are welcome to take them off for the duration of the ceremony. And I encourage you to drink lots of water. And if you haven't used sunscreen, please consider doing that. If anyone is uncomfortable at any point in time, we have a medical tent to my right. And please move to shade if you're uncomfortable being in the sun. We have several persons who will be recognized during the course of our graduation exercises, but I would like to introduce one person to you now. This is my classmate, the first young woman to receive a diploma from Phillips Exeter Academy 50 years ago, and she is here today to help honor you and to represent all who came before. Elizabeth Brownell Lee. Stand up. Thank you. And we now begin our program with a welcome address presented by the senior class speaker and also the senior class president, Ursula Wise.
I would like to first acknowledge the origin and history of the land on which we currently stand. Phillips Exeter Academy is located on Ndakina, which is the traditional ancestral homeland and waterways of the Abenaki, Pennacook, and Wabanaki peoples past and present. We acknowledge and honor with gratitude the land, waterways, and the Alnabok peoples who have stewarded Ndakina through the generations. Good morning, everyone, both to those in person and remote. To our guests, it is an honor to be representing your graduating loved ones today. To the class of 2021, I invite you to take a moment to feel proud. And to our faculty, staff, and all the other adults who have supported us throughout our 4 years here, thank you. We owe the past 4 years to you. In particular, your unwavering devotion to our growth, learning, and well-being throughout this pandemic has been an immeasurable gift. We know it was not easy, and we are grateful for your work. I would especially like to call recognition onto the health and wellness team, facilities management, and the dining services team for making our time on campus this year possible. It is an honor to stand on this stage with Ms. Brownell Lee. I think we are all aware that until too recently in the United States, most women did not receive degrees. As a young woman myself, I feel extremely lucky to have had the opportunity to attend this institution and receive such an incredible education. On this 50-year milestone of gender inclusion, I am reminded of Marie Curie, a personal hero of mine. Curie was the first woman to win a Nobel Prize. Her first Nobel Prize was awarded for her accomplishments in physics. She later became the first person to win 2 Nobel Prizes, as she went on to win her second for her contributions to the field of chemistry. Curie once said, "I was taught that the way of progress is neither swift nor easy." Now, as we celebrate this special day and the progress that has been made in the past half a century, let us recognize that no meaningful progress has ever been easy to accomplish. Therefore, progress can be measured by adversity. Adversity leads us to growth and will show us how to be resilient, humble, and ultimately successful. And so it is not only a hardship, but also a gift. As we depart from Exeter, it is my challenge to the class of 2021 to choose to recognize adversity for the gift that it can be. Your world is only what you choose to make of it. That is a concept which I have chosen to live by. Optimism is what allows us to believe we will overcome challenges and grow from them. And out of belief, we can achieve almost anything. While it is inarguable that some situations demand societal change, which is beyond mindset, I believe that every success that I have ever enjoyed in my life has been a consequence of this personal philosophy, of choosing to see the hopeful side of each situation, even when I find myself in the bleakest of scenarios. And in the most well-meaning, loving way possible, I must admit that even at the best of times, Exeter is very good at challenging its students. Easy is not a word that most would use to describe their time here, whether that time be now or 50 years ago. And the class of 2021 has just navigated what is amongst the most tumultuous years in Exeter's history. So I will not pretend that the past year and a half drifted by without catching us off guard over and over again and presenting us with challenges we clearly did not seek out. But this is how life tends to be. We will always face unforeseen challenges. We often forget that there is an unassuming potential for greatness hidden within the shadows of hardship. Ask yourself, why do we admire those who accomplish the most difficult feats? It is because navigating challenges commands respect and signifies wisdom. Now, at some point over the past 4 years, we all chose Exeter for our own reasons. Maybe you're a star athlete or an outstanding mathematician. But regardless of why you decided that Exeter was right for you, what we do share is that we each knew we would be challenged. If you don't share that experience, I hate to break it to you, but you were probably misinformed. Why did we choose to be challenged? And how do I know that we will continue to choose the path that is not the easiest? I expect this of us because choosing to be challenged is the same thing as choosing to grow. It is the lessons we've learned and the obstacles we've faced at Exeter which have transformed us into independent thinkers, advocates, and leaders. And in light of the added challenges we faced this year, I want to call recognition onto our growth and perseverance. We've reimagined ways to connect, compete, and learn together. We are undeterred. This brings me to the words of Dorothy Height, who devoted much of her life to advocating for civil rights, particularly those of other Black women. Height said once, "Greatness is not measured by what a man or woman accomplishes, but by the opposition he or she has to overcome to reach her goals." Ms. Height's statement about greatness is a universal truth. What we achieve in life is not sufficient evidence to conclude that we are exceptional. It is the roads we have traveled to reach our achievements which measure our success. Our journey through Exeter is coming to a close, and it has been somewhat bittersweet. It was filled with moments of joy and enlightenment. It was also filled with moments of frustration, many of which came from too much time in front of screens instead of around Harkness tables. But despite those times, here we are. We have traversed difficult, uncharted paths to make it to this finish line, and I believe that that alone is incredible. This moment is partially a consequence of good fortune, but it is also a product of our ability to continue through an incredibly uncertain time. Each graduate of the class of 2021 has put in more work, has had more patience, and has overcome more resistance to be sitting here today. And for that reason, we are all the more accomplished for what we have done. But while we have already made history on these grounds, we are entering a global community which needs us to take on greater challenges. Wars go on, racial injustices persist, and we continue to leave an ever-growing stain on the environment of our Earth. There is so much work to be done, and there will always be more work to be done in the name of progress. And in the words of Mary Curie, it will be neither swift nor easy. But I am confident that the class of 2021 is well-conditioned to choose and conquer adversity. As I look at my classmates, I can imagine a future full of fellow Exonians who are not just undeterred by challenges, but are chasing them. We know already what it means to persevere, and we are determined to accomplish unimaginable feats, regardless of the challenges that we will face. We have achieved greatness along the roads we've weathered together. I have witnessed us grow into intelligent, resourceful, resilient young adults. And so I expect nothing less than greatness from us all in the future. Friends, guests, faculty, and alumni, the experience of the class of 2021 has been unorthodox. It has been unexpected and challenging. Our experience here has been adverse. But I hope that the adversity is just beginning. We are equipped for the challenges this world will present us as we become the leaders who will take on the next great steps towards a more just future. Phillips Exeter, class of 2021. You should be immensely proud of what you have accomplished here and the history that you have made. I am grateful for all of you and for what we have experienced together. On a parting note, I ask that you remember that it is our most trying moments that open the gates to our greatest accomplishments. Congratulations and Godspeed.
Thank you, R.C., for those very thoughtful words. You may have noticed this morning that as another way of recognizing 50 years of coeducation, that we have an all-girls team as class marshals and as diploma readers. So I'd like to thank Renee Bertrand and Brandes Ileana Rios and Mary Megan Wright for acting as our class marshals, and also Evie Houston and Maggie Wainwright as acting as our diploma readers. Thank you. It's my privilege at this moment to recognize retiring faculty, and in deference to the heat, I will ask that we hold applause to the end. First, those faculty retiring this year, we have 4 faculty retiring, 2 who are here and 2 who are not here and may be watching remotely. Present are Sarah Ream, theater and dance, 24 years, Peter Schultz, music, 30 years, not able to attend, Zuming Feng, mathematics, 26 years, and Gail Scanlon, Academy librarian, 10 years. Thank you and congratulations. Last year, we were unable to recognize retiring faculty, so now we will recognize those who retired last year. And again, I ask that you hold your applause until the end. And we have a longer list. First, present, Richard Aronian, science, 49 years. Jitai Chen, mathematics, 22 years. Michael Golay, history, 21 years. Hobart Hardy, mathematics, 33 years. Connie Morse, counseling and psychological services, 23 years. Carrie Wendell, theater and dance, 25 years. Not able to attend. Jean Chase Farnham, physical education, 39 years. Amy Schwartz, history, 19 years. Lee Young, admissions, 33 years. Thank you and congratulations. It's now my pleasure to acknowledge Trustee Deirdre O'Byrne, who will help with presentations of awards, and Dean of Faculty Ellen Wilf, who will present scholarships and then lead us through the presentation of prizes and awards.
Good morning, Exeter. Good morning, class of 2021. Are you staying hydrated? Okay, I would like to invite anybody who's wearing a coat or a tie to feel free to loosen that tie and discard that coat. You may want to put it back on for the photo op when you walk up here to get your diploma, but we need you to be as comfortable as possible for this celebration of you. So, it is my honor to greet and celebrate you this morning on behalf of the entire Exeter faculty. I invite you to think of all those who processed into the stadium this morning, standing right here with me, congratulating you and celebrating you. But before we turn our attention solely and fully to you, I do want to say thank you to the friends and the families who are gathered here and who are watching via live stream all across the globe. Thank you for entrusting your loved ones to us. It has been a privilege to coach and teach and advise and learn from and walk alongside and care for these precious people for as long as they have been here, and they have made and remade Exeter into a new place every single day. So thank you for entrusting us with their care. Now to the graduates. I will be announcing two sets of awards this morning. The first is a set of endowed scholarships, and the second is the commencement awards and prizes. You can find them all listed in the insert in your graduation program. We will start with the endowed scholarships. Phillips Exeter Academy has been the fortunate recipient of gifts that established endowed scholarships to a number of specific institutions, colleges and universities, excuse me. Many of these funds were endowed decades ago, and as you'll hear, some of their deeds stipulate that they be awarded to students attending particular colleges and universities. Given today's tuitions, the awards themselves are relatively modest, but we trust that the recognition given to the recipients by donors and the faculty will prove meaningful. So the first are the endowed scholarships. I will be announcing 13 of these. I ask that you hold your applause until the very end of my announcement of all 13, and those whose names are announced do not need to come up to the stage at this time. So the first four scholarships are awarded for each of a student's, let me start that over. The first four scholarships are each for a student's first year at Harvard. The James Dwight Arnold Memorial Scholarship goes to Jeremiah Sweat. The Lindsay Crawford Memorial Scholarship for a student's first year at Harvard goes to Yunso Cho. The George Sutro Lowenstein Memorial Scholarship, we have 2 of these scholarships this year, and they are Nala Owens and Sinai Robinson. The last of the scholarships for a student's first year at Harvard is the Warren Williams Jr. Memorial Scholarship, and that goes to Sheikh Fatani. The next scholarships, the Hubert E. Teschmacher Class of 1874 Scholarship, is for each of a student's 4 years at Harvard. We have 2 awardees this year, and they are Ellie Griffin and Felix Young. The John Parker Compton Scholarship, Class of 1943, is for the first year at college, with preference given to students who will matriculate at Princeton. And we have 8 recipients this year. They are Adia Allison, Seth Amofa, Zoe Barron, Hassan Fatani, Noah James, Stephen McNulty, and Osiris Russell Delano. The Kappa Sigma Ward Memorial Scholarship for the first year of college. This scholarship goes this year to Beatrice Barak. The Hinckley Stedman Fund Scholarship is for each of the recipients' 4 years at college. We have 6 recipients this year, and they are Sadie DiCarlo, Sadie Griffith, Evie Houston, Dylan Mims, Margaret Norsworthy Edgehill, and Drew Smith. The 9th scholarship, the Perrin Fellowship, established by James Perrin of the class of 1946 and his late wife, Martha Bodell Perrin. The Perrin Fellowship supports a year of independent travel and study, permitting a recent Academy graduate to expand their cultural horizons and to stimulate further development of their individual potential. We have 2 Perrin winners, and they are Claire Barber and Renee Bertrand. The Robert Wilson Kessler Scholarship is given with preference for a student proposing an interim program of study or travel outside of Exeter. The Kessler Scholarship goes to Adam Tukler. The E.S. Wells Kerr Memorial Scholarship for the first year at Princeton. I'm happy to award this scholarship to Connor Chen. The Timothy G. Taylor Trust Scholarship for each of 4 years at college is given to students continuing their education in the performing arts. We have 2 recipients this year. The first, Phoebe Ibbotson. The second, Yona Kruger. And finally, the last of the college scholarships, the Vanderwalt College Scholarship, is awarded to 2 seniors who have been at the Academy for 2 or more years and who hold the highest academic rank and have earned varsity letters in 2 or more sports. These scholarships this year go to Anne Brandis and Cole Breen. Please join me in congratulating all of the scholarship recipients.
You didn't mention her, was that by mistake?
Mr. Rawson alerted me to the fact that I may have neglected a name, and I am just double checking. We all know revision is crucial, right? I'm an English teacher. And I did indeed neglect to mention a name. We have one more, John Parker Compton, 1943 scholarship for the first year at college. I should have read, after Osiris Russell Delano, I should have read the name of Mary Megan Wright. Mary Megan, congratulations. Next, we move on to the commencement awards and prizes. It's my honor to announce these awards and prizes. Each award will be accompanied by a brief citation, which I will read, and I will ask that these recipients come up on stage to receive your awards, and I will be welcoming all of you in the audience to applaud each recipient as they come forward. And I will be assistant in the giving of these awards by Principal Rawson, Class President Ursi Wise, who just gave an amazing address, and Ms. Deirdre O'Byrne, a member of the Board of Trustees, who will help with the Cox Medals. So, the Yale Cup, awarded each year by the Aurelian Honor Society of Yale University to that member of the senior class who best combines the highest standards of character and leadership with excellence in his studies and in athletics. The Yale Cup goes this year to Varun Oberoi. Varun, please come forward. Congratulations, Varun. The Ruth and Paul Sadler Class of 1923 Cup, awarded each year to that member of the senior class who best combines the highest standards of character and leadership with excellence in her studies and in athletics. The Ruth and Paul Sadler Cup goes to Mary Megan Wright. Congratulations to Mary Megan. The Perry Cup, established by the class of 1945 in honor of Dr. Lewis Perry, the 8th principal of the Academy, and given annually to a senior who has shown outstanding qualities of leadership and school spirit. We are very pleased to award the Perry Cup to Nala Owens. Congratulations to Nala. The Williams Cup. The Williams Cup was established in memory of George Lind Richardson and given annually to a student who, having been in the Academy 4 years, has, by personal qualities, brought distinction to Phillips Exeter. I want you to know that the winner of this award is participating remotely, so let's be sure to give them an extra loud round of applause. The award this year, the Williams Cup this year, goes to Yunso Choi. Next up is the Esky Clark Award, given annually to that scholarship student in the graduating class who, through hard work and perseverance, has excelled in both athletics and scholarship in a manner exemplified by Esky Clark of the class of 1919. This award goes this year to Evie Houston. Congratulations, Evie. The Thomas H. Cornell Award, based on a vote by the senior class, is awarded annually at graduation to that member of the graduating class who best exemplifies the Exeter spirit. The Cornell Award goes this year to Seth Amofa. Congratulations, Seth. The Multicultural Leadership Award. The Multicultural Leadership Award is presented annually at graduation to those members of the graduating class who have most significantly contributed to educating the community about and fostering greater understanding of topics of race, ethnicity, socioeconomic status, gender, nationality, sexual orientation, ability, religion, spirituality, or other aspects of identity. We have 4 winners this year. I'm going to announce them in alphabetical order. Please hold your applause until I've announced all 4, and then I will invite all 4 to come up to the stage. The winners this year are Anne Brandis, Charlotte Lisa, Nala Owens, and last, Sinai Robinson. Thank you, and congratulations to Anne, Charlotte, Nala, and Sinai. I'll now ask Ms. O'Byrne, there she is, to come forward to assist with the Cox Medals and the Faculty Prize for Academic Excellence. The Cox Medals, given by Arthur S. Cox in memory of his father, Jacob Cox. The Cox Medals are awarded each year to the 5 members of the graduating class who, having been 2 or more years in the academy, have attained the highest scholastic rank. I'll ask each recipient to come up after I read their name. This year, the awards are given to, in alphabetical order, Ellie Griffin. It's a very long walk this year. Congratulations, Ellie. The next winner is William Vietner. Congratulations to William. The third winner of the Cox Medal is Jason Wang. Congratulations, Jason. The fourth Cox Medal goes to Felix Young. Congratulations, Felix. And finally, the 5th Cox Medal is awarded this year to Honglin Ju. Congratulations. And finally, the Faculty Prize for Academic Excellence, given to that member of the graduating class who, having been 2 or more years in the Academy, is recognized on the basis of scholarship as holding the first rank. This year, this prize is given to Jason Wang. Congratulations, Jason. Congratulate all award recipients, and congratulations to every single member of the great class of 2021.
We will now hear from our concert choir seniors who will perform for you the song Coming Home. Oh, excuse me, The Road Home. Sorry, Chris. Sorry. Thank you, concert choir seniors and Mr. Johnson. Thank you again, Ursi, for your wonderful remarks this morning. And congratulations to all of the students who are just recognized. Class of 2021. Take my hat off. Practiced that for hours yesterday. In less than an hour, hopefully much less than an hour, you will be graduates of Phillips Exeter Academy. I am very pleased to deliver this farewell address. As I said earlier, my graduation was held in this stadium 50 years ago, actually 50 years and a day. And I remember that day how I felt. I felt a great sense of joy, a sense of joy that comes with a feeling of accomplishment. And I felt a certain pride, or perhaps better said, happiness, in being part of a school whose values were important to me, where hard work and integrity meant a lot, where teachers and coaches expected and demanded that we be our best, and where students delighted in each other's successes and accomplishments. I felt prepared for what lay ahead and certain that the bonds of friendship that had been forged here would endure. I was leaving with a strong sense of belonging. And now it is time for you to leave Exeter, hopefully with many of the same feelings that I had all those years ago. We must begin by acknowledging that this has been a very challenging year. We have been through a pandemic, and indeed really are still experiencing a pandemic, the likes of which the world had not seen in more than 100 years. We have been fortunate, very fortunate indeed, to be able to teach, learn, and be in community as much this year as we have, while much greater hardship and loss have been experienced elsewhere in the United States and around the world. Even so, we must acknowledge that the pandemic has posed significant challenges for our school and for all of you. Happily, with a vaccine available and a decline in local cases, you have enjoyed a senior week with activities that we could not have imagined only a few weeks ago. It is wonderful to see you sitting here now, although very hot and uncomfortable, nevertheless without masks. It has been a long 15 months. It's been a long 15 months since last spring when we had to close the school unexpectedly and you had to stay home and learn remotely. Meeting the Academy's expectations under the constantly changing circumstances of the pandemic and achieving your own ambitions under these conditions has been very challenging. Seniors, I am very grateful for all you have done during the course of the year to help keep our community safe. Thank you. I am proud of how you have adapted to these changing circumstances during the course of the year, and I am very proud, and you should be proud, of all that you have accomplished and all that you have contributed to our school during your time here. You have distinguished yourselves in academics, individually and in teams, including in numerous prestigious competitions across a wide range of disciplines. You have excelled in music, drama, dance, and the visual arts with passion and commitment. Finally, this spring, it was very exciting to see our athletes competing against other schools. And I'm happy to report that you had a winning margin by a decisive margin across all competitions against our rival to the south. In all your endeavors, you have worked hard, you have given your best, you have aspired to excellence, and you have achieved excellence. In the spirit of non sibi, you have provided strong leadership across all aspects of school life, and you have helped us maintain a strong sense of community despite the isolation imposed and felt during the pandemic. You also played critical leadership roles in our anti-racism work and have endeavored throughout your time here to make our school more inclusive and more equitable. Your commitment to non-civi has extended to the local community as you cooperated and helped safeguard the health and safety of our town, and you developed creative ideas for ESSO interactions with senior citizens and other residents in our town. And equally importantly, you have supported each other and made lifelong friends. I will say again that I am immensely proud of all that you have accomplished and all that you have done during your time here. But we need to recognize you have not done all of this alone. We must acknowledge how your families have supported your education at Exeter, especially this year. Please take a moment with rousing cheers and applause. Let's thank your families for the support they have given you during your time here at Exeter. We also must recognize and thank all of the adults on campus who have played a significant role in your time here. Those who have taught, coached, advised, or counseled you, kept you healthy and safe, fed you during the pandemic, and all those who have worked behind the scenes in many ways to support your education and experiences at Exeter. Please again, take a moment to express your gratitude for everything they have done to support you. And now, a few words about what lies ahead. Like Ursi, I feel a tremendous optimism for the class of 2021. I see in your class the qualities and abilities that will enable you to live up to what Stephen Robert, class of 1958, said to you in assembly 2 years ago. He boldly declared, "Your time has come and you will be the change makers." You are ready to live up to those words and make a positive difference in the world, in whatever venues and on whatever scale you choose, just as you have done here. In our core values statement of Non Sibi, we proudly proclaim that we seek to graduate young people whose ambitions and actions are inspired by their interest in others and the world around them, and that the wisdom gained here should be used for others as well as for oneself. The world, now more than ever, needs you to confront the greatest challenges of the day and do what you can to produce a more just and sustainable society, environmentally, economically, and socially. Go be the change makers. And go with confidence. You have been challenged during your time here, and you have succeeded. Whether you have been here for 1 year or 4, you have grown in ways that you could not have imagined when you first arrived. Our mission as a school is to unite goodness and knowledge and inspire youth from every quarter to lead purposeful lives. You don't need to know now how you will live a life of purpose and meaning beyond Exeter. You have time to reflect, to ponder your place in the world, to explore your current passions, and develop new ones. You are leaving Exeter with the necessary foundation. In the last 50 years, we have seen dramatic changes in the world in every field of human endeavor. We will see even more dramatic changes over the next 50 years. One thing, though, will not change: the need for citizens and leaders to act with empathy, understanding, and respect for their fellow human beings. You will be those kinds of citizens and leaders. Intellect alone will not be enough. As our deed of gift states, knowledge and goodness. Both united form the noblest character and lay the surest foundation of usefulness to humankind. John and Elizabeth Phillips wrote those words in 1781. They remain true today. As you go forward with confidence, go forward also with humility. With the humility that comes from understanding that we are at our best when we are open to the thoughts and ideas of others, particularly those whose experiences and perspectives differ from our own. The greatest challenges the world faces will be solved by teams, not individuals. Your Harkness pedagogy has uniquely prepared you to be a member and leader of these teams. Seniors, I'm coming to the end of my remarks. After you receive your diplomas, I will no longer be able to call you seniors. You will be fellow Exeter alumni. In that sense, you and I will be peers, members of the same extended Exeter community. As I left Exeter 50 years ago with a strong sense of belonging, I hope you too will leave today with that same feeling of belonging. And I hope you will return to Exeter often to share your stories with future Exonians, and by your example and by your stories, encourage and inspire them. And finally, just as you will always belong here, so too you'll always belong to each other. You'll always be the great class of 2021. Congratulations. Do I call first row now? I think my next word is to say first row, but I can't see. We're ready to award the diplomas, so it is first row.
Classical diplomas. Seth Amofa. Alikia Rhodes Barton. Jackson William Carlberg. Connor Luke Pao Chen. Erin Choi. Albertus Matthias Chu. Philippus Vincentius Horrigan. Greta Blake Kroger, participating remotely. Josephus Engelhard Luffer. Carola Anna Lisa. Andrew P. Luke. Carolus Nathaniel Preston. Catherine Charity Reed. Robert Charles Stanker. Meredith Beren Craig Ching Thompson. Matthew Alexander Turner. And now for the English diplomas. Emilio Vincentini Abelman. Daniel Carmen Adonisio. Ibrahim Muhammad Ahmed. Alexei Alexandrovsky. Adia Niara Allison. Brandon Ellsworth Anderson. Abby Shifra Ash. Hunter Wilder Barr. Claire Holter Barber. Zoe S. Barron. Emily Ariana Baxter. Quentin McCready Bazar. Renee Marie Bertrand. Anne Matheson Brandis. Cole Thomas Breen. Luke Pickett Brain. Emmanuel Brindamore. Eli R. Brotman. John Wilson Bruce. Piyama Kanita Bryant. Carly Mae Garen Buckner. Beatrice Christie Burek. Jack William Gerhard Burgess. Jiaying Kai. Johanna Jasmine Calderon. Hayden Cook Campbell, participating remotely. Alrighty. Isabel Constance Carden. Sophie Pinheiro Cavalcanti. Sam Remy Chalmers. Kai Etzer Champion. Wan Yin Vanessa Chan. Joseph Chen. Matthew Lawrence Chen. Mei Chen. Hojin Choi. Yoon So Choi, participating remotely. Panchali Choudhury. Veronica Valerie Chulka. Alicia Bella Coble. William Willis Collins. Annalise Victoria Cowles. Nikyle Christopher Wayne Cross. Isla Rose Crossman. Daniel Wenbo Tsui. Jeffrey Harrison Sway. Richard Allen Davis III. Sadie Maida DiCarlo. Julia Margaret Dobbins. Molly Vose Darawa. Kenneth Albert Elsman. Sophia J. Emmy. Ia Audrey Eng. Layla Sophia Erhili. Brody Nicole Feliero. Armando Samuel Justin Fideli. Jacob William Fagenberg. Allison J. Felch. Angelo Blas Ferreira. Haya Firas. Sheikh Ahmed Sani Fatani. Hassan Eugene Fatini. William P. Ford IV.
Thank you very much.
Catherine Irene Fortin. Owen Michael Fox. Alexander Sebastian Frazier. Bridget Catherine Gable. Samuel Ephraim Gallagher. Grace Caroline Gant, participating remotely. Thomas James Gannon. Hon Yi Go. Nicholas R. Gary. Caitlin Gabrielle G. Francis C. Getman. Samuel Elliott Ginsburg. Jane Elizabeth Glidden. Violet Hayward Goldstone. Osberto Gomez Santana. Alicia Catarina Fernandez Gopal. Tyler William Gransbury. Elizabeth Kern Griffin. Sadie Grace Griffith. Graham Walker Gite, participating remotely. Thomas Guo. Christian Hall. Nathaniel Frick Hall. Allison Marie Hanlon. Jacob A. Harper. John Joseph Harrington. Maylee Chin Hart. Layla Grace Herman. Zoe Margaret Herman. Casey Michael Herod. Robert McKay Herzig. Oliver Blair O'Reilly Hess. Austin James Hirschberger. Chungun Bona Hong, participating remotely. Evelyn Ujai Houston. Caroline Jiaying Huang. Sarah Haijin An Huang. William Haorei Huang. Joseph John Hunt. Kirsten Ann Heyer. Phoebe Elizabeth Ibbotson. Anna Laura Jacobowitz. Noah R. James. Genesis Ray Jarrett. Jackie Dennis Jean-Jacques II. Morgan Matthew Johnson. Carlos Ty Jones. Caroline Terrian Kagan. Emily J. Kang. Sarah Minji Kang. Natalie Rose Karaki. Alexandros Konstantin Kekriotis. James Gardner Keeling. Savita Ellen Keidel. Zachary William Kelleher. Sarah Margaret Kennedy. Sophia Anna Kierner. Eunice Kim. Subin Rachel Kim. Alexander Everett Knight. Alexander Maximilian Knopp. Jordan Coach. Dennis Costa Kolu Iden. Yona I. Adams Kruger. Seo Hyung Kwak. Jack Lai. Hannah Audrey Lee. Jun Kyung Lee, participating remotely. Morgan Jang Lee. Noah Darwin Lee. Taehoon Lee. Elijah Lembo. Maya Lee Baldoza Limos. Helen Cade Lieberman. John Charles Lilly.
Sijia Lin. Angela Ping Liu. Sophie Liu. Emmett Wesley Lockwood. Maximus James Lucas. Addison Jane Luce. Caroline Kip Luff. Joshua Albert Lum. Tyler Anthony Luzo. Julia Nicole Lynch. Eric Bolek Malarchik. Audrey Dix Malilla. Devin Lawrence Malone. Ella Rose Melissa. David John Mancini, participating remotely. James Henry Manderlink. Helena Rose Mandeville. Anna Rose Holloway Marion. Haruka Masamura. Isa Matsubayashi. Erin Youngmi McCann. Zachary Edmonds McConnell. Matthew Gary Joseph McCorkle. Lucas Lewis McEachern. Rosemary Elizabeth McElroy. James Owen McKenna. Owen James McKiernan. Hugh Claffey McLaughlin. Stephen Michael McNulty. Stephen Walker Meistrel. Jonathan Chenhui Meng. Isabella C. Mercado. Croy Solomon Mikovsky. Dylan James Mims. Chloe Elizabeth Minakuchi. Erin Mizuno. Costa Padalis Moklis. Christian David Molina. Malia Lindsay Monge. Catherine S. Moon. Liam James Moriarty. Wilson Richard Mueller. Louis Peacemaker Mukama. Avery Elizabeth Napier. Matthew Alexander Nye. Nguyen Not Nam. Ryan Kwong Win. Sarah Arwin Nichols. Julia Catherine Norsworthy Edghill. Margaret Caroline Norsworthy Edghill. Aidan Patrick O'Brien. Dylan Elizabeth O'Day. Varun Oberoi. Silas Cook Oberting. Philip Aravatan. Luke N. Ostrom, participating remotely. Maxwell Webster Olinson. Coral Lynn Outwater. Nala Christine Owens. Henry James Palmer. Audrey Rose Park. Sarah Marguerite Pash. Molly Frances Pate. Megan Nicole Paul. William Harger Peeler. Mark Maestre Parroquia. Robert Peterson. Christian Andrew Petrie. Ryan P. Pettit. Nicholas Thang Kim Pham. Giovanna Susan Pisano. Gavin Shumway Pitt. Kira Elizabeth Palovic. Joshua Edward Poulis, participating remotely. Jack Peter Pachalski. James Michael Quinn. Alexis Leonardo Ramon Latetcela. Annabelle Elaine Ramsey. Alexander Rohan Ranganathan. Marco Pedro Rayner. Emma Lynn Reach. Victoria Catherine Riemann. Audith Parvatha Reddy. Mateo Alejandro Rice. Caleb Alexander Richmond. Ileana Paola Rios. Sinai I. Robinson. Valentina Marie Rogers. Colin Thompson Rolfe. Brian Irving Rothstein. Osiris Y. Russell Delano. K. Daniel Sacano. Nicholas Anthony Salerno. Rachel Holly Saltman. Yuvraj Singh Sethi. Gabriella C. Shatreet. Tessa Morgan Shields. Annie Kai-Yun Shin. Rachel Joy Shu. Cooper James Shagru. Antonina Jinping Smaldone. Drew D. Smith. Ella Pratt Suddeth. Christopher Liao Sir. Jeremiah Thomas Sweat. Max Tan. Killen Tang. Margaret Elizabeth Theobald. Lydia Rose Tebow. Benuki Inara Thiruchelvam. Meredith McLaren Thomas. Safina Maria Tillman. Mary Elizabeth Timmons. Aaliyah Bella Toledano. Alec J. Tracy. Emmanuel Johnson Tran. Adam Douglas Tuckler. Sophie Lee Turr. Susan Unver. Julian Robert Klaus Van Dykem. Colin Hardy Vernay. William Gould Viator. Thomas Young Volker. Gregory C. Vogel. Maggie Charger Wainwright. Griffin Baird Walker. Cooper Alexander Walsh. Jason C. Wang. Nicholas Wang. Sarah Suron Wong. Ethan John Wasilina. Ivan S. Watkins. Catherine May Rankin Weber. Nina Joy Wheeldryer. Serena Beatrice West. Claire Elizabeth Weist, participating remotely. Ursula Skiff Wise. Kyungwon Woo. Mary Megan Richardson Wright. Christina Yao Xiao. Zhehong Xiao. Elisa Xu. Alana Yang. Yulian Reihua Yi. Felix C. Young. Audrey Charlotte Yin. Aiden Vincent Young. Michael Sean Young. Joshua Jijiao Yu. Imam Mohammed Yusuf. And last but not least, Hongling Zhu.